Good morning. Wow. I'm so sorry, but it was a lot of work just setting this up. I don't know why. It was so hard this morning, but I guess it has lightened my mood so I could record and speak to you freely. Good morning. Let's get straight into it. I woke up this morning feeling vulnerable. Actually went to sleep last night feeling vulnerable, but I didn't understand it. But this morning it was very strong. What made me feel vulnerable? I'd rather not share at this time. Which reminds me, I have control of my vulnerability. There's such a negative connotation created when a person says that they're vulnerable. They're naive, or, they could be taking for a loop. When being vulnerable to me is more human than just as being angry. Yeah, being angry and being mad, being sad, being happy, feeling overwhelmed. There's so many emotions that makes us human. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have it any other way. Yet still, it took some time for me to get to this point. And that I definitely give praise to meditation. So now it's 2018, the ending of 2018. And I'm now doing more sessions, more regularly. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling vulnerable about everything. Everything that made me question myself, made me angry, made me sad, made me scared, all of it. It was just as clear as day to me for the first time in I don't know how long. It was uncomfortable. It was tense, but I decided that I'm just going to let this thing ride. Why? Because I've reached a place where I trust myself more. At that point, I knew I didn't need to do anything extra in order to prove my stability. It was about me. It was about the relationship I had with myself. And even that, like, you don't have to let everyone know that you're vulnerable or why you're vulnerable, because I let my friends know that I was vulnerable. Matter of fact, it was the ending of that year, December, where I believe it was a Harriet Apothecary. My homegirl, one of my homegirls, she invited me to this event, and it included a full day of meditating. On and off, of course, not just meditation predominantly. And I've never did it with a group before. I never meditated with a group before. So this was my first time, but I was ready. I felt ready. So I was already in the state of vulnerability when that happened. And after that day, I realized I cannot do an all day, when those people, there are people that goes to those retreat, those meditation. No. One day is good for me. Because it exudes everything to the point of just feeling sleepy. I just wanted to rest after that. I want to be honest about how I feel when certain things are said, especially when it comes to being vulnerable. Those words, man up. to the core. It irks me to the core. Why? Why is it so wrong for a man to be vulnerable? I don't get it. It's stupid. We're all human. We're all allowed to feel how we feel, especially a man. And that's what bothers me the most. Just this outlook of what should be and what shouldn't be, instead of just saying, it's all natural. This is what it is. This is how you feel. This is how we're going to go. And I'm not going to let my feelings overwhelm me to the point of not being able to do whatever it is that I need to do, you know, go to work or take a bath or whatever. It's like, it's not depression. I understand when depression happens, it takes over. I've done the research. You know, I majored in psychology. I get it. But being vulnerable is just, I hate that there's a ugly connotation attached to it. Because to me, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. To feel like I have control of my feelings and that no one could hurt me is the best feeling in the world. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be disappointed or I'm not going to be hurt by something a person said, but it's not going to stop me from getting to point B, to move to point C, and so on and so forth. It's not going to interrupt my life. At least I'm not going to allow it to interrupt my life. So I asked you, when you want to cry, and this is for the men and the women, when you want to cry, cry. When you want to scream, scream. We need to breathe. We need to find our center. And if it feels that your center is corrupted, do not be ashamed to go to therapy. Let me just clarify on therapy, because there are a lot of therapists out there that have the degree, that have the certificate, but do not have the balls to do the practice right. They just don't. They don't have the knowledge. Therapist is not supposed to tell you what to do. It's supposed to be a safe space for you to plan what it is you want to do next. I didn't like every therapist I went to. It is a hunt. In spite of it all, in spite of the hate, especially what's going on now with the... I don't even want to mention it because it's so surreal. In spite of what's going on in our country today, there's so many intricate details of what makes life beautiful. Me, for one, are trees. Trees. If I should go any further, video games. Going a little further, culture. And let's take it there, friends, and then go beyond the stars to family. And your family could be whatever you make your family out of. So yeah, I am vulnerable, yet I'm happy. And in the end, I still love you. This is Purple Sky coming at you. Asking you to subscribe to get more of my videos and help me as I continue to learn how to make this thing work.